Hello and welcome to Hoosier Football Tailgate right here on the Believe Network. It's Thursday and it's time for video on Thursdays, and we'll get a chance to do that here in just a second. Remember, Hoosier Football Tailgate is sponsored by Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all things sports wagering with up-to-date news, stats, and odds. Bet Online is where the game starts. Hoosiers kick off Friday or Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock, and it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan, part of Fox's big national coverage that happens on Saturdays. And right now, the Hoosiers are pretty big underdogs in this ball game. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth here in a second, about Michigan, watch some film of Michigan from earlier on in the season, and talk about some of the things that make them a pretty good football team from the standpoint of what they're doing right now. They're the number ranked team in the country. Their defense is phenomenal. Nationally ranked number one in the Big Ten in total defense. Offensively, I believe they're fourth overall in the Big Ten. Scoring about 20 point or scoring defense is about 16.7 points a game. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. If you had a chance the other day to listen to Zach Osterman for joining us here from the Indianapolis Star, talking a little bit about what will be Rod Carey's first opportunity to call plays as the offensive coordinator for the Hoosiers Saturday afternoon. It'll be interesting to see what little things have maybe been added to the game plan. Taven is still going to be the starting quarterback. And most importantly, I think you're going to see, offensively speaking, a little bit more of getting the ball in and out of Taven's hands quickly, utilizing some play action / bootlegs in that regard, and maybe at times some quarterback run or design run potential, or the potential of mixing other parts into the equation with Jalen and from that standpoint, being a dual threat in terms of being a wide receiver and also having the ability to run the ball. Right now, we don't have any idea of who may not be available for Indiana on Saturday, as they really don't release that until the availability reports come out about 2 hours prior to the game, which I guess in some respects it eliminates some speculation throughout the week, but ideally you would like to have an idea of who they have or not have available on a Saturday afternoon up in Ann Arbor, a place that the Indiana Hoosiers have not won since 1987, when they won a 14-10 ball game up there under Coach Mallory. And the closest IU win was back in 2020 when Michael Penix Jr. threw for about 342 yards, and Hoosiers won, I believe it was the 31-21. We'll have some of that statistic here in a little bit. So the Hoosiers have struggled up in Ann Arbor. I believe Michigan is 14-0 against Indiana when Michigan is ranked. So there's a lot of things against the Hoosiers going up to Ann Arbor on Saturday, and with the change offensively and potentially some of the aspects of what they do. Hopefully the defenses address some of their miscues that they had on the last game against Maryland with some blown coverages and such. I think Tom Allen kind of alluded to that in the presser on Monday, where he said they may have focused on too many other things more that weren't as important, of making sure that everybody was on the same page as coverage. So sometimes coaches get the pen in their hand and they start drawing and they get overly creative, and they find out that, we really are putting ourselves in a bind here by doing this. and we need to get away from it and do the things that work and get rid of the things that do not work, and kind of take the Rod Carey approach. Offensively is the plays he's going to run as the ones that work, and stay away from things that put them in a hole offensively. Let's take a look here at some of the statistical aspects of this game against Michigan on Saturday, and bringing up some of my stuff here as it pertains to screen share. So give me a moment here. All righty. You can see here that Indiana's offense is really only 20 points a game, 334 yards of offense per game, 40% on third down. Not bad, not great. Fourth down, really 1 out of 3 is about where they're at. And right now, as a total team, I believe their turnover margin is a +1. And you got to see some of this stuff has got to get ultimately better for the Hoosiers heading, to finish up the rest of the year. They're going to have to improve some drastically in all this. Michigan's defense, as I said, they're the number 1 ranked defense in the big team in total defense, plus they're nationally ranked overall. 6.7 points a game. They've been very stingy, only giving up 90 yards of rushing a game, 142.5 yards rushing a game. 4 interceptions. One of those went back, was a pick 6 Saturday up at Minnesota, in which the Hoosiers won. They're doing on third down 30% on third down, fourth down 25%, pretty darn good. And then their turnover margin as overall as a team is a +3. So even as good as they've been, they're haven't been creating a ton of turnovers on defense from that perspective. Looking at Indiana's defense, giving up about 20 points a game, 342, which is not bad. Decent on third and fourth downs. And this is where this is going to collide this week against a very productive Michigan offense, where they're 37 points a game, 852 yards rushing, 229 yards passing. Harbaugh is predominantly a running type of coach, and you can see that's pretty near 50-50 on rush pass in terms of yardage, but you're going to see more focus and emphasis on running the football and then utilizing play action and boots and such with J.J. McCarthy. But overall, 414 yards a game. And offensively, their third down percentage, 56%, which is really good. That tells you right there that they're getting very efficient yards on first and second down, and the majority of their third downs are third and medium or less. And you can see right now that even on fourth down, they're at 63% on fourth down, which is another great statistic for them. Looking at some of the players that they have to take an eye look at, of course, J.J. McCarthy, second-year starter, 77% on his pass completions. That's astronomically and overly good. A lot of these are balls that are thrown in that, probably in that 6 to 10 yard vicinity, quick passing game and such. But anyway, when the ball leaves his hands, he's completing about 78%, over 1,300 yards on the season, 11 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. So as you can see, he's really done a great job in TD to interception ratio, and also their percentage completion through the year. Blake Corum, their top running back, 494 yards, 83 rushing attempts thus far, averaging a robust 6 yards a carry, 10 TDs. Another guy that you'll also see, they've got 3 wideouts, Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, and Donovan Edwards. These 3 are pretty identical in their receptions and yardage, as you can see, where Wilson has been their big target for in terms of receiving touchdowns, where he's got 8 already. And then Loveland, the tight end, is another big target for them. 16 receptions on the year, 205 yards, and 1 TD. So right now you can see from the running back situation to the outside receiver situation, the Hoosiers are going to have a lot to deal with on Saturday. This Michigan offense, and have a lot of things that they're going to have to be aware of in terms of who's on the field and who's not. And again, running back wise, they go about 3 deep here, but Quorum right now is their top guy. And then on defense, their 3 linebackers are their top tacklers. And that tells you 2 things. One, the defensive line is doing a great job occupying their gaps, occupying blocks, and keeping their linebackers free. And that's why you see these guys having these type of tackles on the year. So you can say that the defensive line has been, very, very good in what they are doing schematically to not only take care of their gap responsibility, but also keep their linebackers clean to make plays. And then you got 2 guys up front, Graham, who has got 16 tackles on the year, 4 tackle for losses and 1.5 sacks. And then Josiah Stewart, their defensive end, 16 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks on the year. So he's a guy, number 5, that the Hoosiers are really going to have to focus in on, especially on passing situations and making sure that they're accounting for Stewart in the rushing game, pass protection game, because he can be a threat to the passing game. So a lot of good players there, a lot of sophomores in that group. So you can see they've got some top talent there at Michigan. When you look at this when I say keys to victory, there is no question that Indiana is going to have to play a very, very good football game, and Michigan has to help. They have to have turnovers, and their defense and offense have to have probably one of their worst games of the year. I mean, right now, offensively, Indiana just has to make sure that they make Michigan earn all their points and make them earn it by making them drive the field and not giving up the cheap scores. Offensively, offense, ideally, they've got to be able to rush for 125 and pass for 275. That's going to get them up to close to 400 yards. That in itself should give them at least 28 points up on the scoreboard, if not more. You're dealing with a Michigan offense. I said earlier, about 38 points a game. And in order for that to decrease and give the Hoosiers a chance, a lot of things are going to have to come into play with this, on top of the offensive effectiveness. No cheap scores. Must not have any blown coverages, because if you're going to blow a coverage, they're going to kill you. Michigan is too good of a football team for Indiana to have any missed assignments or mental lapses on the field. They have to be ready from the start of the game to lock in and get themselves focused to make sure that they're giving Michigan all they can handle from the defensive perspective, and the offense has to be on point on everything that they do from an offensive perspective. And then last but not least, no turnovers and must create at least 2. Both teams are in the plus category on the turnover margin. Michigan is very good at, ball security and stuff, but this is a game that IU must create some turnovers in this ball game. As you can see, the Hoosiers are going to have a pretty big tall task on Saturday against this Michigan football team that we know can be a problem. But Indiana overall is going to have to play all right, let's take a look at some of the Michigan defense from games early on in the season. This is a game against East Carolina. As you can say here, Michigan has a lot of different stuff. They will, show a front and then move out. We'll show this from the end zone here in a second. But they're a team that likes to do that. They also like to show different coverage schemes, as you can see here, of a good job. Watch their linebackers fill. They're very quick and they get to the line of scrimmage, cause havoc. They have a lot of great team speed defensively, as you can see here as they move and show their stuff. You can see right there how they fill that hole. Here's an inside zone. I mean, it's a simple thing when you think about it, because it's essentially he's there. These two are working here and up to this guy. These two right here are back up to this guy. And this guy is you can do one or two things to him. You can have him arc and block the corner and make 17 the read, or you can just straight off block him and hand it off. But as you're going to see here, this center is dead wrong. He's got his shoulders turned right now. He has no way of getting this guy, none. And you can see the tight ends carrying off. So this is really not a read. They're running inside zone, and there's just no hole there because their center doesn't block it correctly. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, 3-by-1 set. You got three guys up to the field. You're one-on-one into the boundary. Back is weak. Looks like they're going to bring something here, off the edge wise. The backer, this is a backer here. This guy right here is a backer. And then this is the other backer, as you can see there. Getting ready on this 3rd and 5. You can see them. They like to, cause some havoc, get the quarterback to check and do things like that by their movement. And as you can see here, East Carolina is in a situation where they have to check because they're expecting a blitz. And what's going to happen at the snap of the ball, this guy is going to drop out. This guy's going to come, as you can see here. It's kind of a zone blitz scenario here in theory, but they're playing man free. And how you can tell they're playing man free here, these guys' eyes are on their guy. They got him no matter what. This guy's free, and he's just going to kind of read the tailback. And this guy here that's dropping technically has the tailback in this scenario. So they come, they try to throw essentially a seam route on the outside. I'm not sure what they're doing up here. They got two guys running into each other and really nothing happening. But there's one where if he throws the ball better here, he's got a chance for a big play, and the protection wasn't bad. But they broke it up. Good reach secondary, solid secondary. Here's an end zone level. Look at this. Speed it up here a little bit. So you can see right now. Now the way theoretically, if you're throwing a drop back pass, I like a man side and a zone side. So in this instance, this tackle would be out here. He would be setting here, and the center would be setting the A gap. This guy would be boom. This guy would be boom. And then this guy here is the backs. If he comes, the back's got him. If he doesn't, the back can run a check release type of thing. Let's see what East Carolina does here. They zone it and man it. Now, one thing that this guy here, this right tackle, can't get his shoulders turned. He's got to stay square pretty good in that regard to make sure that he's getting this twist on the backside. But pretty good pickup by East Carolina here. Little collapse there on the backside, but you can see this throw. If he throws it a little bit, they got a chance on that one. Next series here, you can see East Carolina is going to do some motion aspects to try to, get Michigan to adjust their defense and stuff. But as you can see here, base first down and 10. Michigan's playing a 2 safety, probably playing 2 here and 4 at the field, up to the field, or they could roll their coverage and play some type of 3 coverage. But here, when you got a 5-man box in the run game, you got to be able to run it. I mean, you've got to be able to hand the ball off and run. And again, they're not paying attention to the run assignments here. In this instance here, these two should be working for him. Basically, the center is with this guy with some help here, but they're trying to move it up to this guy up top. And this guy can just cut off if you want to, or if you want to read this guy, okay, then he's going to be the read guy. And then they're working, you got an extra body. So you get 3 for 2, 2 for 2, and we'll see what happens here. They end up pushing it all the way out to number 5. So these guys were looking and counting this guy here as a part of the box. So what happens now is you get this, but he's got to go there. He's got to go there. And this guy's got to get that guy. And it's very difficult to do that. I like the fact you got to leave somebody. I mean, sometimes it's just the nature of the beast. And probably in some respects, what they teach the quarterback on this in terms of the read key, if he reads square shoulders, he's basically going to hand it off. He's got to make this guy make a true commitment on that one, and it didn't happen. We'll switch over to offense after this play here. You get to go to the field again, 3-2 box motion, and they run the same play. Okay. Quad, 4 receivers at the top. It's kind of a ghost set. Quads, 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. So it does create some coverage in situations for Michigan. They kind of get this safety over the top off on the hash there. And you got the 2 edge guys coming off the edge here. But they're just going to run a twist. You would think this is a good call by the defense, because this is what helps them on quarterback draw, because they don't get anybody up to the Mike linebacker. And the Mike linebacker is going to be there to make the play. On the basis of that picture there, you should be good. And if you're going to run a true draw, you're just going to set on this guy, set on that guy, set on this guy, set on that guy, and your center's going to boom, stop, and then he's got to go block that middle linebacker. And what he does is he ends up taking the twister, and nobody gets to the backer. So again, some missed assignments in this regard East Carolina down here in the opportunity. Now that you got 3rd and 9, this is why Michigan's so good. They go 2 plays and only gain 2 yards. And now you're in 3rd and long, and this plays right into Michigan's hands because now they can do what they got to do to get off the field, and they've been pretty good at it. East Carolina decides to go protection and keep 2 backs in, and then throw a total of a 3-man route. And essentially, really, they get a pretty good deal here because, and this is a good route for this type of defense here, is this guy's going to end up taking 2. He's going to take this corner and this free safety. And then this guy's going to come up and run a big time corner route against this guy. So there's the corner route. He underthrows it, and it's a pick because they can't protect. They're keeping 7 in to block 4, and they can't protect it. They get caught on a twist. He gets his arm hit, and away it goes. And Michigan gets one of their interceptions on the year. Let's look at it from the end zone side. Essentially, the 2 backers, these 2 running backs are going to take care of help with the end rushers, and then 3 up 3. Right guard. He's manned on that guy, and he gets beat to the inside. This guy takes the center. Good teaching point here. This guy's going to go right for his hip and pick him off for the twist. They got to be hollering because if he gets the ball out, that's a completion. That's a completion, and that's the difference from being good against Michigan and Michigan dominating you from that standpoint. Let's take a look at the Wolverine offense here, if I can. Okay. This is kind of what I was saying earlier. You got to put them in uncomfortable situations like here on the goal line. East Carolina does a good job here. Really, I thought this was a safety. But he ends up getting out. But East Carolina, again, they're 4-man front, 7 technique, 2-eye, 3, 5. Kind of playing what we call an under front defensive end, outside backer out here. 3 safety coming down to get an 8-man box. Comes off the edge too. Again, Michigan going to run it inside zone. Good job by East Carolina. Again, here's a good job by the linebacker. Getting off a block on an 8-man front because the corner's responsibility goes. So he's there to help make a play. Good wrap up. Good job by their defense on Michigan's offense. Boom. Good job. Now you got them in 3rd and 10. Michigan going to basically come out in a base set, 2 tights, 2 wideouts, and they do a good job. And Michigan just decides we're going to run it here and kick the football, which is good thing. from East Carolina to maintain field position. Okay. Inside zone with an RPO. When he decides to throw it out there, East Carolina really kind of defended that pretty good. This is when Harbaugh was suspended early on in the year. So they're going to run inside zone to the way the defense is set left. He makes a fake and a great job of coverage on the outside by East Carolina. Okay, bunch set for them. Tight end motion. These are just kind of little spot routes. As you're going to find them all. Basically, this is guys running a sit route, just like he's running a sit there, and this guy's running out. But this guy's coming up here and running basically a hook, but he's just sitting in the zone. And he makes a nice throw here. This is just an overall really good throw. So what has to happen here, you'll see East Carolina, they do a good job, is that they have to basically communicate on who's got who, because the way the motion changes things. And they do a good job. And then that corner at the top, he runs good. So he's at he does a good job of running the route and breaking it off. And again, this is how, Indiana goes about doing things offensively. You can't stop all of the things. You got to hope that they make some mistakes as well. But if you got it, you got to find ways to get pressure on McCarthy. You got to help him keep him in the pocket. And you can't have breakdowns. And I'll tell you what, right here's a breakdown, because he misses this cat right here going right down the seam. I'm not sure what this guy's doing, if he's got the back or what, but sorry about that little crayon deal. But watch number 2. He's got him. All he's got to do is rip it right in there. Maybe, throw it right there, right behind the backers. He's not going to make that play, or him going to make that play. Or you got this guy down on the outside wide open, but he decides to go up there. Good job by East Carolina's defense. This is where this cat's really good. This is Corum. Big run here for him. Kind of again, just nothing special. Inside zone. Good job of washing it down there, and Corum making the offensive players right all the way down to the 10. And you can see he's going to make plays down in that red zone area more times than not for Indiana in that regard. But as you can see there, they're a very, very, very good football team, and they're going to have to do some things that help Indiana, be it turning the ball over, being off on offense or defense or both, and Indiana being able to capitalize on those things and those mistakes that Michigan may make on Saturday. Yeah, no team is unbeatable any given Saturday. They're going to have to play their good game where they put points on the board and don't give Indiana any type of hope. But Indiana's got to be raring to go, but they have to play their best game. They have to play their best game to give themselves a chance. And if they can be within 10-7 points going into the fourth quarter, they've got a good chance. They'll have a chance. But, it's going to take a special effort. It's going to take a day where things go Indiana's way. They make their, get some breaks, and Michigan does some things that you wouldn't think Michigan would do for the Hoosiers. And who knows? That's why you play the game, and they get the opportunity to go out and play the number 2 ranked team in the country. They could be national headline news with them getting a big win up there in Ann Arbor. And we're just going to have to see what transpires here Saturday afternoon in Ann Arbor at 12 o'clock kickoff for Indiana and Michigan on the Fox Network. Well, I appreciate you joining me here today here on sponsorship of our video of Bet Online AG. Thank them for their sponsorship of our Hoosier Football Tailgate. We'll catch you on Monday for the recap of the Michigan versus Indiana game on Saturday. For now, I'm the Coach Griffith. This has been Hoosier Football Tailgate on the Believe Network.